There is a model that psychologists actually use to understand individual differences, predict behavior, and assess personality in research, counseling, and workplace settings. It's called the Big Five. Let's dive in. Often called the ocean model, the Big Five breaks down your personality into 5 core spectrums. Think of these not as boxes, but as sliders. Where you fall on each one shapes how you experience the world. Let's start with openness. This is your curiosity and creativity slider. If your openness is high, you're probably the one who's always brainstorming new ideas, eager to travel somewhere unknown, and you love art and abstract thinking. You see the world as a place of endless possibility. If your openness is low, that's not a bad thing. It means you're practical, down-to-earth, and you prefer the comfort of routine. You'd rather master what you know than constantly seek out the new. So ask yourself, when you go to a restaurant, do you tend to try the most exotic or new thing on the menu? Or are you ordering your favorite, reliable dish? Next up is conscientiousness. This is your organization and self-discipline slider. If your conscientiousness is high, you're the planner. Your calendar is color-coded. You never miss a deadline, and you feel a real sense of satisfaction from checking things off a list. If your conscientiousness is low, you're more spontaneous. You prefer to keep your options open. You might procrastinate, but you also can be incredibly adaptable when plans suddenly change. The question here is, does a messy room bother you, or do you even notice it? Now, let's talk about extraversion. This one is often misunderstood. It's not about being loud or quiet. It's about where you get your energy. If you're high in extraversion, you're like a solar panel. You draw energy from being around other people. A big social gathering leaves you feeling charged up and alive. If you're low, what we often call introversion, you're like a battery. You need to store energy by spending time alone. Socializing, even if you enjoy it, drains that battery and you need quiet time to recharge. So, after a long, exhausting week, what sounds better? A night out with a big group of friends, or a quiet evening alone with a book or a movie? The fourth trait is agreeableness. This is your compassion and cooperation slider. If you're high in agreeableness, you are the peacemaker. You're trusting, empathetic, and you value harmony above almost everything else. You'll often put the group's needs ahead of your own. If you're on the lower end, you're more straightforward and competitive. You value honesty and directness, even if it might cause some friction. You're not afraid to debate and stand your ground. Think about it. In a disagreement, is your first instinct to smooth things over or to make sure your point is heard? And the final trait is neuroticism. Now, that sounds like a harsh word, but psychologists are starting to call it emotional reactivity. It's basically your emotional thermostat. If you're high in neuroticism, you are very sensitive. You might experience anxiety, worry, and sadness more quickly and intensely. You're very in tune with threats and negative emotions. If you're low, you have high emotional stability. You're the calm, even-keeled person who doesn't get easily upset. It takes a lot to throw you off your game. When you make a small mistake at work, does it bother you for the rest of the day? Or are you able to shrug it off and move on pretty quickly? So, those are your 5 sliders. That's your unique ocean profile. But, so what? What do you do with this? This is where it gets powerful. First, it's a tool for self-compassion and growth. For example, if you now understand that you're low in conscientiousness, you can stop beating yourself up for being disorganized and instead build external systems, like calendar alerts and to-do lists, to support you. You're not broken, you just need the right tools for your wiring. Second, it builds incredible empathy for others. That person who never wants to try new things isn't boring. They're just low in openness. Your blunt colleague isn't necessarily a jerk. they're probably low in agreeableness. It takes the personal sting out of other people's behavior. And finally, it helps you make better life choices. If you're highly extraverted, a remote job where you're alone all day might be a terrible fit. If you're low in emotional stability, a high-stakes, high-pressure career might burn you out. You can start to choose a life that fits your blueprint instead of forcing yourself into a mold that doesn't suit you. If you want to find out your own scores, there are some great and reliable tests online linked to Couple in the description below. I'm Bald Explainer. Thanks for watching.